Today, I'll be doing one of my most exciting unboxing video for 2024, and I'm going to be sharing with you a saltwater finesse bait casting reel. This one right here, released in 2022, and this is the Daiwa Silver Wolf. It sports a shallow spool size 1000 for PE line, like very thin line, okay? This reel here is made specifically for chinning, or basically fishing for Japanese Porgies, and they use very thin line. They use 0.6 go and 0.8 go, throwing anywhere between 3.5 grams to 28 grams. That is insane. Like, I have people messaging me, hey Jimbo, you rock Derivis line all the time, but I'm snapping all the time. And I was like, hey, the line is really good. Why are you snapping your line, right? And most of the common response that I get from the folks who message me is that they're trying to cast heavier lures on long rods, and they're trying to cast as far as they can. And when they backlash, there's no stretch in that line. So it freaking absorb all the shock, and then it hits a limit, and poof, it snaps, right? So how can Japanese people use super long rods casting 3.5 grams to 28 grams with 0.8 go? That's mind-boggling. So I want to freaking figure out why this could do it, because you know what? Jimbo's in a saltwater craze right now. We don't have the Japanese Porgies, but we have Porgies, right? We have tog, we have sheephead, and I know a lot of people down south, they have all these similar fish too. So I'm so freaking excited. The braking system here gotta be like a beast in order to handle that. So if you guys are excited, you definitely want to stay tuned for my fishing sessions. But anyway, let's cut to the chase. Why did I get this reel now? Well, obviously yen is down, right? So it's a good opportunity to buy this. But I got this reel actually off the Daiwa storefront on Amazon, like Daiwa Japan, shipped from Japan. And it was actually a lot cheaper than Digitaka, right? So I was like, that's mine. I bought one immediately. The price for the left-hand reel shot up, but the right-hand reel is still down, and they still have a lot of it. So if you guys are right-hand retrieve folks, link in the description below. First person to go buy it, well, you guys enjoy that discount, cheaper than Digitaka. Right, so the first thing we do is we're gonna read off some specs of the box, then we're gonna look at the reel, okay? So anyway, let's take a look at this guy here. Once again, this is the size 1000 reel. The full name is the Silver Wolf TW1000 XHL. Okay, left-hand retrieve, super fast speed. The speed gear ratio is 8.5 to 1 gear ratio, and it's telling you that it does 90 cm per turn, which is around 35 inch per turn. So definitely very nice collecting line, okay, because it is a larger spool. So technically, if you're not saltwater fishing, you can still use this reel, or potentially use this reel for power bait finesse fishing for your freshwater adventures. T-wing system, we'll talk a little bit about that, but that's basically that little guide in front. So for those who love Daiwa stuff like me, you guys are familiar with it, but I will talk a little bit about it during the showing case of the reel, because some folks don't know anything about it, okay? SV boost, that is like the current highest NSV style braking system. So I'm assuming that this is the reason why this reel here can handle, casting those lures with those thin lines. Is going to control it a lot. And I'm going to hold that for a second. I'll talk about it when I talk about the spool, because yeah, this thing right here is super duper dynamic. Anyway, the next thing is MAGSEALED ball bearings. So basically they have 10 ball bearings, right? And they're corrosion resistant. And how are they corrosion resistant? They actually have some sort of a magnetic oil grease that helps keep the seawater and dust out. And they apply it to all the bearings in here. So I'm assuming they're going to be some sort of thick oil, so it's not going to be like super easy to turn compared to, let's say, my smaller bait finesse reel. But it's okay, because I am saltwater fishing. I'm throwing heavier stuff. I think I'll be fine with it. But yeah, in a second, I'll reel the handle, and I'll let you know how it feels, okay? But yeah, I think that's all I really want to cover. There's a 5 kg, so a little bit more than bait finesse. Bait finesse is typically 4 kg, right? Yeah, that's all I really have to say. But if you look at the line, right, obviously it's for PE, right? So there's 0.6 go and 0.8 go. You can see that there is a range here, 90 to 180. Likely I'll be using 0.8 go because I fish a lot of heavier stuff. So I'll be looking into 75 meters to 150 meters. My assumption is that there's going to be a first line on the spool, and you put 0.8 go on the spool onto the line, right, to the first line. Instead of maxing the spool, you hit 75 meters. Or if you max the spool, you get 150 meters. So we'll take a look at that right now. All right, so we open the box, and here we go. We got the reel. Give me a second, put this down. what we have here. Okay, we got SLP Plus. I can't read any of those stuff, so we're gonna ignore that. But we have a bag sealed up here, and it looks like it is the Daiwa bag plus the paperwork stuff in here. So I guess the instruction manual and also the schematics, right? Yeah, I guess I could do like some sort of translation and read some of these stuff. But this looks like there's an ID on here, serialized for warranty and stuff. But of course, buying overseas, Jumbo don't have warranty, so yeah, that could just stay in a box forever. But yeah, this is the schematics. And note that this is a PE only spool. Do not put any sort of monofloor or anything like that. That's what it says on the website. I did some translation when I peeked at it a while ago. But yeah, these are some, I guess, good information that I can't read at all. Okay, anyways, no schematics here. It just gives you a ton of instructions. So I guess you wouldn't be replacing parts, maybe? Maybe you'll be looking through there if you need to replace parts. But I did check Platco because I wanted the spool. Like originally I wanted this spool, just a spool, and I shove it onto my Zillion, right? My 2021, I believe, or 20 Zillion. Same size spool. This should fit that reel, okay? But anyway, let's move these on the side and let's assess this beautiful reel because it does friggin' look beautiful. Look at that. Definitely a lot bigger than my Bait Finesse reels, right? So we have that big spool right here. And yeah, this definitely could hold a lot of line. And as I mentioned earlier, if I could get this thing to focus, if you look at the spool, right? You see that first little latch right there? That could potentially be the 75 meter mark for 0.8 go. And then if you max it all the way to the top, that's 150. That's what I believe. I will likely test that when I spool line for my first fishing impression later. So I'll report back to you during that video. But that's my first guess right there. But let's reel this for a second. Oh yeah, it's definitely feeling a lot different. It definitely feels like there's grease in all the bearings. So I guess that's how you ensure longevity of the reel. And I feel like this handle might be thicker than some of my other Daiwa reels. Hold up, let's put this down. I do have my Zillion somewhere behind. All right, so here's a Zillion. And I don't have any tools to measure, but it does look physically thicker, just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna turn sideways to it. Or it might just be the same, I don't know. It's so hard to tell. You could tell that this guy right here might have rounded off a little bit more, so it might be the same. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. So we have the TPE material knobs. Love these knobs. I love the shape. Feels great. Let's see. All right, nice loud clicking on the star drag. The the handle. Okay, I love it. And by the way, folks, there is a drag clicker on this reel. Oh yeah, you guys love it, right? So there you guys go. For those who love it, it's gonna be nice and loud, and you can definitely hear the fish run. I'm using thin PE line, so I'll definitely love having it. As I mentioned before, this was one of the reels that kind of changed my viewpoint on whether I want a clicker or not. For heavier line, heavier fishing, I don't really care for it, but if I'm using thin line like this, I definitely want to hear this. And it sounds beautiful. All right, thumb bar feels very, very nice. There's a very tiny wiggle like most Daiwa reels. It's not like super gappy like some of the CDM reels. So quality right there. It sports the zero adjuster knob here, so it's pre-tuned, preset. Okay, basically they made the spool tension loose as possible, but the spool does not move left and right. And let's talk about T-wing system. So T-wing system, TWS is the line guide. When you reel, you can see that this guy is going left and right, making it very, very beautiful, aligning, all your PE line. It's very important as well to mention this, right? Look how fast this thing going left and right. This specific reel here is going to be faster than some of the other Daiwa reels because it's made for PE line. And if it goes too slow back and forth, what happened is that the line could potentially dig in itself. So if it moves left and right faster, it distributes the line more, so it doesn't really dig in, especially when you're fighting that big saltwater fish, right? But anyway, back to the T-wing system. This is what's special about it. As you're reeling in, you can see that it's a very, very narrow line guide, so that it's gonna make sure that it put the line on, exactly where it needs to be. But when you're casting, you hit the thumb bar, right? It drops down, and you have that wide hole so that when you cast, the line go back and forth, and it reduces friction, allowing you to achieve longer casting distance. All right, so what else? Side plates right here doesn't have the little twist knob right there where you got to take your fingernail or take a coin and unscrew. They changed it to this thing right here, which is nice because, every single time I do a video and I say, hey, look, I'm casting out brake, blah, 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 a lot of people think that little screw is the brake indicator. But no, that's not the case. There's actually a little notch on the side plate, and, that's where you're supposed to read the number, right? But a lot of people don't know. But anyway, I'm glad that they got rid of that, and they're going with this guy right here. Wow, that's actually very hard to turn. But yeah, the entire body here is basically the same as the Zillion SVTW. And once again, here it goes, okay? If you guys want to learn more about this reel, you guys check it out top right-hand corner. But anyway, the latch is on the side plate right there, and it's not going to get in the way. I really don't like the ones that's really low on the bottom because you can hit a rod holder or something like that. And lock position is at the up, so even though if this thing is lower, you put it down, it's not going to hit that latch and disengage, so that's nice. So let's open this up. There it goes. Oh wait, I actually want to weigh this guy here because it was in grams. This reel here is pretty heavy, right? 185 grams. And if I change this to, that was it right there, ounce, 6.5. Okay, so 6.5 ounce, not too heavy. But anyway, let's take this guy out, and I'm gonna weigh the spool right off the bat since the thing is here, the scale. But I gotta put this thing back to, nope. There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna weigh it with the bearing on. Look at that, almost 13, 12.9. And I'm assuming this bearing right here is going to be stainless steel. So this is a size 34 millimeter spool. Very, very large compared to the very, very popular bait finesse reels right now. I think the trend right now, most of the reels are at the 28 millimeter spool, allowing you to throw a lot light lures. Because obviously a size 28 millimeter spool, it's physically smaller, so it's lighter. So it starts up a lot easier casting those light lures. But also, the 28 millimeter spool dispenses less line per rotation, so it gives you a less chance of overspooling. For this guy here, size 34 millimeters is a large spool, so it will be dispensing a lot of line per rotation. So for those larger lures, you definitely will love this spool, especially on that long rod. And I think we could talk about the braking system now, because I think this is why we could cast a lot of lures up to 28 grams and not like go crazy backlash and snap your line, right? So SV Boost. Let's talk about what SV Boost is. But let's take a step back because I don't know if anyone here knows a lot about the Daiwa braking system. First and foremost, Daiwa reels, they are all magnetic braking. You see this guy right here? This is a round magnet here, and its cup sits in here, okay? So this is, say, the third generation. The first generation, which is the lowest end, you see at the Fuego or the TW1000, right? That uses the legacy, the first generation, and all it is that when you first cast and the spool spins very fast, it shoots straight out into the cup, applying more brakes. And as it slows down to a certain extent, they basically tune each different reel, right, to a specific way. It will retract and apply less brake at the latter end of the cast, allowing it to travel further. So it makes sense, right? SV spools. SV spools is the next level up. The spool is lighter than the first generation. And it also is more dynamic because first and foremost, the spool acts the same way. It shoots out when it spins very fast, especially during, the initial cast, right? That's where the spool spins the fastest. But instead of just backing out, just straight back out, it actually twists back down. There's a ramp. So it slowly retracts rather than it just goes down. So it makes it super duper smooth. And right now, SV Boost, the last generation, this guy here is basically, it shoots out, okay? And it actually have a midway point stop and then goes back all the way down. So that is pretty cool. See, look, I'm playing around with it. Look, I pulled it out like this. This is the first seat. And if I actually pull it a little bit more, it goes just a little bit more. Okay, so that is cool. So it's 2 steps. Here is a closer look on the cup itself and also the washers. So you see that white washer right there, the white disc there? That's the first level. Very short distance traveling, see that? And it actually rolls too. So it is SV style, so it rolls. So let me show you guys again, but I'm just gonna pull it, right? So first stop, it goes right there onto that plate, and there's a little bit more right there from the white to the next washer. You see that spring right there? Come on, refocus right there. And I guess there's another spring in between the white and also the cup. So very, very neat. I see that there is this little black thing. It looks like an O-ring. I guess that O-ring there, it's going to make it super duper smooth, kind of like the Shimano. Okay, it's a silent tune. It makes it vibrate a little less. So hopefully this is going to be a lot quieter than some of the other Daiwa reels. Another thing about this reel is, as you guys can see, it's short shaft, very, very highly demanded right now on finesse reels. The reason why is because now this guy right here sits on only 2 bearings, this guy here and here. Therefore, it's technically less resistant. All right, while we're still talking about the spool, let's talk about aftermarket spool. There was actually a spool from SLP, and it's like $90 on Amazon. And it's basically a shallow spool like this. It holds the same amount of capacity, but I don't know if it has like the SV Boost style. I may look into that because I actually was looking on that because I was like, hey, I can't get this spool from Platco JP for some reason. There's actually no parts on Platco on this specific reel itself. Like I was gonna get this and shove it onto this guy, and boom, I got a cheap version of the Silver Wolf. But yeah, they never got any parts for this reel, and yeah, that's why it took me forever to get this reel because I was waiting, hoping for that spool, right? Well, bummer, no Silver Wolf spools on JP Platco. All right, let's look at the SLP. And well, I saw this guy while I was looking at the SLP spool, so I was like, you know what? Let's get this guy. Let's go, right? But anyway, if you guys want to see me get that spool anyway, because I may end up using that spool for this reel here for freshwater fishing, like power finesse fishing using 0.8 Go, I think it'll be perfect. So let me know in the comments below if you guys want to get it, or if you guys have the Zillion and you want to get that spool. Check out the link in the description below. You guys can check out more details, okay? But anyway, that's it. So there you have it, my unboxing video for the Daiwa Silver Wolf SD TW1000 XHL PE Special Edition, baby. I can't wait to get this on the water. I'm not even gonna do a cast testing session because this reel is not really about throwing the lowest lure out there, like bait finesse reels and stuff like that, right? I'm gonna fill up with a 0.8 Go, or well, I don't know, should I fill up with 0.8 Go right off the bat? But you know what? The first thing I'm gonna do is I am gonna use 0.8 Go, and I'm gonna figure out how much line is at the first line versus fill to the max. Once again, it says 75 meters. For the first line, which is around 82 yards or 246 feet. I don't think I really need more than 246 feet, but I may fill up the spool to the max because I may want it to dispense more line per rotation. Or I want to add a little bit of weight to the spool. I don't know. So I may fiddle around with how much line I put on there, but definitely I will put 0.8 Go, and I'm gonna go out there and have a lot of fun. I will be primarily using this fishing off the kayak or on the surf for some saltwater species. So if you guys are excited, you guys know what to do. Stay tuned for that. If you're a new viewer, make sure y'all subscribe and turn on the bell notification. The fish don't wait. Thank you for watching. Tight lines. The fish don't wait.